Hello, thank you for joining us and welcome to our recorded webinar on the latest identity trends in Versasec Credential Management. Sorry, it's not a recorded webinar, it's a live webinar. My name is John Asan and I'm the technical leader at Versasec based out of our Dubai office. Versasec is the leading provider in identity and access management solutions, and our flagship product is known as Versasec CMS. Versasec helps organizations of all sizes really to easily deploy and manage strong two-factor authentication devices. So if you want to know more, just check out our website, versasec.com. Now, during this presentation, we'll be presenting our product enhancements from last year that followed some of the latest trends in identity and access management. We'll also talk about some more recent highlights and features that we have on our latest release, which is Versasec CMS version 6.6. So stay tuned. I encourage all you who have questions to type in those questions in the chat box. We'll try to answer some of those at the end of this webinar. So without further ado, let's start. So Versasec is an industry leader within the credential management space and ecosystem. And we support and integrate with the most credentials in the market from all industries, leading players like Thales, Yubico, Microsoft, and a lot of others. We have many years of product innovation, primarily focusing on credential management. We are constantly improving on this and improving user experience. We've invested a lot of R&D to keep up also with latest trends in identity and access management, which of course helps empower our customers to really be at the forefront of security. We really hold dear our company values of welcoming, openness, honesty, and curiosity that are promoted not only through our products, but most importantly in our people. Diversity is also at the core of Versasec, so every office worldwide celebrates diversity. Here I'm in the sitting in our Dubai office, and then we really are welcoming different perspectives and bringing value to customers and partners. We have the best in-class credential lifecycle management, what we call end-to-end orchestration, from the credentials that we manage to the back-end systems we integrate with. This empowers the organizations to free up their valuable resources and time previously that may have been allocated to manual tasks, such as maybe performing these functions through multiple different softwares. We grow with your company. Our solutions are fit to small organizations of 50 users or large enterprises of 100,000 or more users. You get PKI and FIDO now under one roof. We'll speak about this in the upcoming slides, but allowing you to manage the PKI and FIDO credentials centrally, or essentially on behalf of the user, or through self-service options. Versasec has also been a member of the FIDO since 2021. Okay, so 2022 features. This is a recap of last year's features and enhancements to Versasec CMS product. So last year, we introduced Versasec Cloud, which is our award-winning Versasec CMS software as a service on the cloud. This is very exciting for us internally as well. So those who are already familiar with Versasec CMS, here you get the full, complete Versasec CMS solution that you're already used to, except managed by Versasec. So if we go down the list, the server upgrades are managed by Versasec, and all Versasec Cloud customers will be on the latest supported versions. The client-side application upgrades are available through repositories, and then can be scheduled and pushed out to the client machines. For the your third-party connections and configurations to the backend. This is the customer is still responsible and has a hold of these, whether they're setting up their user directories, certificate authorities, HSMs, their keys, etc. And we do provide use cases, but every customer is really empowered to run its defined use cases here. So again, on the credential lifecycle task, each customer is still in full control over their credential management lifecycle tasks. On server maintenance, routine maintenance like patching VMs, etc., is managed and operated by the Versasec Cloud team. Database maintenance, we use our built-in database with the application, which is based on SQLite, is also managed and maintained by Versasec. Backup and validations. Backups are managed by Versasec. Some validation is provided to the customers of the success, failures, etc. Informational on those backups are made available to the customers. Monitoring and incident handling. The Versasec Cloud team constantly monitors and handles any incident with the server in the cloud environment. All of Versasec Cloud customers here, important to note, must be also on a premium support contract when subscribing to Versasec Cloud. So within version 6.3, we added support for FIDO management. Now, Versasec CMS could be integrated with an IDP, allowing you to maintain FIDO credentials for the users managed by your IDP. Just a quick definition there, an IDP is short for the identity provider, which is a service that stores and verifies user identities. They're typically cloud-hosted services, and they often work with single sign-on providers to authenticate the users. And the two IDPs that we currently support are Okta and Glue, but we are in the works to add others, so stay tuned to that. This feature provides the capability to enroll those FIDO credentials through Versasec CMS centrally through our admin or agent applications, or via self-service through our Versasec user applications. And you have the additional capability to manage both FIDO credentials with your PKI credentials through one cycle flow. So you have the best of both worlds here, really benefiting the benefit of combining your PKI with FIDO2 to secure your applications. And we have a nice demo there to show you on FIDO plus PKI. So here we'll show you certificate-based Windows logon. So issuing a credential for a user with certificates, and then doing the FIDO attestation, then demonstrating certificate-based authentication, and doing FIDO authentication into Salesforce using the Okta IDP in this case. This is our life cycle where you're centrally managing the application. You'd select your user, which you're issuing on behalf, and then issuing a credential to them. You get the prompts for the FIDO security key. And then the FIDO credential for the user is registered into the IDP. You'll get a short summary once the completion of that lifecycle task of what the CMS has performed in the back end. And here we use the credentials to sign in to the machine and as Windows logon, common Windows logon. And then we go to the IDP and authenticate it into our, in this case, Salesforce application with our FIDO credential. Thanks, Tanya, for that demo. Let's continue on physical access credentials. So in version 6.4, we also added support and management of RFID only contactless smart cards, RFID in radio frequency identification. And this gives customers the possibility to manage and encode the RFID only cards that do not contain a contact PKI chip in this case. So within Versasec CMS lifecycle enrollment, you'd create a template to issue and encode the supported RFID technology that has the RFID chip embedded into the card body. So, and worth mention, the 3 supported technologies on RFID from our product side is MyFair Classic, DeskFire EV1, DeskFire EV2. Now the management capabilities are similar to those, to the hybrid cards that we already manage that contain RFID and PKI crypto chip. This is really useful for the customers who want to manage PKI credentials and separately manage RFID only cards as an addition. An example would be they issue the hybrid cards to the employee or maybe a permanent staff that utilize both logical and physical access to the facilities. And then they could provide the RFID cards to those visitors, contractors, or guests that require access to the facility, canteen, and other physical access forms, let's say. Of course, this reduces the cost or the burden of purchasing the dual or hybrid cards for those type of visitors. Another benefit is in the context of a badge ID. So Versasec CMS has the capability to integrate with smart card printers to graphically print the logo and layout details on the smart card, the conventional smart card itself, so they could be utilized as the badge ID. During encoding, the benefit here is we have the possibility to integrate and inform the physical access control system so that the system applies the relevant level access to its connected components. And this can be done during issuance or revocation. Azure Active Directory integration. And we introduced an enhancement here to provide the additional ability to establish connection to your Azure AD tenants. This is used to retrieve user information during the Versasec CMS credential management tasks. Now, important for those using Azure as a user ID management system, of course. There's different use cases here, but you could be in a hybrid environment where you have both local AD and cloud, or you may be considering moving to full cloud. So this is a very good add-on here. Another worthy mention is that Versasec is a member of the Microsoft Intelligent Security Association, known as MISA. MISA is an ecosystem of independent software vendors that have integrated their solutions with Microsoft security technology. And the aim here is to better defend against a world of increasing threats. Versasec is a long-standing Microsoft partner. We have many years of integrations with local Microsoft Active Directory, the Active Directory certificate services, certificate authorities, the Microsoft SQL Server, and then the more recently Azure AD now, Azure SQL, and Windows Hello for Business. And we do have a nice demo on this coming up in the next slide. For this demo, we show you connecting to Azure Active Directory in Versasec CMS, establishing that connection, issuing a certificate to a user from Azure AD, then performing the end use case of the document signing using certificate-based document signing in Adobe PDF. Here you can configure your Azure AD connections. You can have multiple tenants. You have the normal details here required for authentication that you'd provide based on your tenants. Here's your Azure AD dashboard here. The normal issuance process, this is via central issuance in CMS. You'd authenticate and validate yourself, or the admin would in this case. Select your user credential. And you get the summary of the tasks that were performed. This is setting the user PIN. There's different methods of doing this, both centrally and via self-service. And here, user ID and object ID will now match what you should have in the user attributes in Azure Active Directory. And that is the demonstration of document signing using strong certificate-based authentication method. All right, so moving on, the Versasec CMS user application interface, or UI, has been updated to an optimal on-screen experience for your end users, simplifying the controls. That adds really a more intuitive and user-friendly experience. We also changed some things around here, changing the smart card to credential, since Versasec CMS supports many different crypto security keys, and they come in a variety of form factors. The user can also select from the menu in the toolbar and trigger the action buttons as below, for issuance, retire in this case, or reissuing your certificate, or changing, unblocking your PIN. All the main functions are available still. We've also updated the tray icon to match the UI. Quick Mac OS update on improvements here. We added the capability for the end users to perform self reissuance or renew their certificates from the Versasec user application, that's our self-service application, on Mac OS. We have a quick demo on this as well, showing you how this is performed. They would click on My Certificates tab in this case, load their certificates from the inserted key. You can see, I guess they're showing this one should be expired. Here's the serial number. You would select reissue certificates, and you'd get a new certificate from your certificate authority. And it's that simple for your end users to do. Now, important to mention here, I guess there are several ways as well that you can allow your users to perform certificate reissuance. You can do it centrally or via self-service applications. Multiple ways, I should say. This also demonstrated at the end here, pin change, pin unblock. I'll cover this in the next slide, actually. Okay, challenge response for pin unblock was introduced as a new functionality. This really allowed or allows the user to manually select the offline challenge response option for pin unblock, even when the Versasec CMS user application is online and connected to the Versasec CMS server. So previously, when you were connected to the Versasec CMS server, so let's say you were sitting in the office, the Versasec CMS user application was connected to the server, you would only get an online option, an online method to unblock your PIN. Now, if enabled, you can present the user with the option to perform a classic challenge response even when connected. And there are several ways that a managed credentials PIN code can be reset, which is referred to as this PIN unblock. If you go to support.versasec.com, type in PIN unblock on the search, you can get all the online and offline methods in a nice article on how to perform these and what ways we support on performing these. Support for the single wire configuration on the Entrust Data Card CR805 printer has been added, relevant for those customers who don't want to use or who cannot maybe use the loosely coupled configuration. We also added support for the Entrust Dually Contact and Contactless encoder that are one of the two encoders supported on this printer. Worthy mention, with the single wire solution, the printer would have only one physical connection point using either Ethernet or USB, through which it would send all the reader and chip commands to the smart card module. And a loosely coupled smart card solution allows you to connect your system directly to your PC or server through one or more USB cables. And this solution really works best when the system is near the PC or the server. Two additional credentials were added to support our long list of supported credentials. That one is the eToken 5300 and the HID C2300 Crescendo 2300. Some specification details for you on the Crescendo 2300. We used an AES 128-bit as the admin key. There's also a 16-bit byte challenge. The card has a hard-coded PIN policy, so it's a numeric value with no repetition or sequence. Okay, so in 6.1, we added a feature to change the card templates assigned to issued cards in different life cycle states. That could be in an issued state or an active, inactive, locked, or even revoked state of the credential. And then push the credential updates via a card template change, when basically there are two different credential rated configuration in both those templates. Now in 6.5, we also extended this existing feature to the operator accounts. So it would help the customers who want to create operator accounts using the already issued user credentials. Now, there's a lot of different use cases on this, but I'll give you top 3 here. If a customer has many templates with different changes and they want to consolidate or merge and remove the old templates, it's a good way of doing so. And the customer can also deploy different modifications out to the credential. If, example, you have not set a strong enough PIN policy, and you can do so with this update and update it to a stronger PIN policy through this template update. Change the certificate used in the card template. You can also update this through this enhancement as well. Excuse me. Next slide, please. All right, now we have reached the point to discuss the latest enhancements on our latest version, version 6.6. AAD TAP, so that's Azure Active Directory Temporary Access Pass. Now, a temporary access pass is a time-limited passcode that's issued by an admin that satisfies a strong authentication requirement. That is Microsoft's definition. And the TAP can be used in 2 different contexts. When onboarding a user to register another authentication method, such as FIDO2 or maybe even Microsoft Authenticator. When a user recovers a lost or a forgotten strong authentication method, for example, maybe he lost his FIDO2 key or forgot it. Now, TAP is the passwordless authentication method. We can say like a FIDO or like the Authenticator, and helps to register those passwordless authentication methods without the users specifying a personal email address or a mobile phone at first registration. So we have added support for Azure AD Temporary Access Pass on V6 CMS, creating the TAP, deleting it, retrieving it, and also listing a TAP for a specific user. And we can do this at issuance, and at revocation we would of course delete it, and we can do it on demand by requesting the Azure AD TAP code outside the issuance as well. The on-demand one feature is available by default only for the administrator. I believe we have a nice demo on this as well.
In today's video, we will showcase Versasec's capability to issue a hardware credential with PKI certificates and to generate, distribute, and use Azure AD Temporary Access Pass for FIDO onboarding. We'll go over how to securely enroll a physical credential, such as a smart card or USB key, with PKI certificates, and in the same process also prepare the onboarding of FIDO in Azure Active Directory. To begin, the operator inserts their physical credential, such as a smart card or USB key, and authenticates using their PIN. Next, we'll issue a blank credential for a user complete with a certificate TAP and PIN policy. The enrollment process is straightforward and involves inputting the temporary access pass and confirming the card details. The temporary access pass is used to grant temporary access to the user, allowing them to log into Azure Active Directory and register a FIDO credential. By enrolling physical credentials with PKI and FIDO into Azure Active Directory, we benefit from centralized management and improved security. We can manage all credentials in one place, track their usage, and ensure that they are only used by authorized users. Thank you for watching our latest video. We hope you found it informative and helpful. For more information on credential management systems, please visit our website.
All right, moving on to the certificate authorities. So we've added the CertSafe certificate authority, and that's full lifecycle management, certificate enrollment, renewal, and revocation centrally or via self-service application. We also support for this certificate authority user registration, creation in CertSafe CA during the enrollment process. Another added benefit here on the client side configurations through the server, we have a CA connection proxy made available to proxy Versasec CMS client side applications through Versasec CMS server during certificate enrollment. A good one there for those of you planning on using CertSafe CA from CertSign. Further application side improvements, we've updated the card pane and functions to the agent applications. Those administrators who prefer using the agent applications can now benefit from this card update option without having to revoke and reissue those credentials. The shortcuts on the navigation on the admin and agent applications were improved as well, which improves the usability and navigation around card templates. You have multiple card templates configured. The admin needs to view or edit a dedicated template based on a credential he's currently looking at. This feature would allow you to shortcut and jump right to the card template configuration just by selecting the highlighted template as shown in the slide there. So we now support the HID Crescendo 144K, expanding our list of supported credentials. These credentials are to replace the previous HID C1150 model smart cards. Improvements around Windows Hello for Business. For those of you using Windows Hello for Business, we've added a configuration option allowing you to turn off the user PIN verification when retiring Windows Hello for Business PIN. So a new registry key can be configured and enabled and of course enforced through or via your group policies. Very useful when a customer wants to give the capability for the users to retire their own Windows Hello for Business PIN through Versasec CMS and also to retire a forgotten Windows Hello for Business PIN. From the latest version 6.6 onwards, we providing an option to delete ACME orders and ACME accounts in Versasec CMS. So improvement around that, and also important, all the active ACME accounts are now included in the license management from version 6.6. This would impact any of those customers that are already utilizing ACME through Versasec CMS, which will reduce the count of the licenses based on the number of managed accounts, ACME accounts you have in Versasec CMS. Thank you very much. I hope you found this webinar informative. If you have any questions or interested to know more about our product features presented here, visit our website at versasec.com, reach out to us through social media, or reach out to us directly through info@versasec.com. Yeah, and let's go through and see if we have any questions. All right, there. Does Versasec have a migration capability for vSec Cloud? Absolutely. We do have migration capabilities to vSec Cloud. I think that was the question. We also have migration capabilities from other third-party CMSs and other systems. So yeah, please reach out to us for that. Can I integrate with multiple third-party CA vendors? Yes, absolutely. You can integrate with, that's one of the greatest benefits of vSec CMS. You can integrate with many different certificate authorities and issue those certificates from those into your credentials. Which PEC system does CMS integrate with? We have integrated with different physical access systems like Johnson & Johnson and Honeywell. If there's a specific one that you need, feel free to reach out to us and we can discuss and evaluate that as well. But yes, we do integrate with physical access systems. We have the capability to do that and then issue and encode these cards and provide the information to the physical access system. Okay, is that all we have? Yep. I think that's all of the questions. So, yep, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And have a great day.